Today is a sad day because in this box is what might be my final book haul of 2023. Now granted, today is December 23rd, so it is possible that I could buy some more books before the end of the year, but I don't plan to. And as you might have guessed, because this is in a box, this was an online haul, which I don't always do, but these books are from a vendor on eBay called Second Sale. They have an amazing selection. They also have great prices, and every once in a while they do a buy 3 get 1 free sale, and I had to take advantage of that. And whenever I buy books online, it's always a case of books I've looked for in local bookstores, either used or independent stores, and haven't been able to find them, and I want to add them to my collection, so I do the online thing. But generally speaking, you know, it is best to support local businesses. Okay, first up is Lemon by Kwon Yeo-Sun. She is a South Korean author. As you might have known, if you follow me, I've been trying to get more into Asian literature. And there's a lot of great classics, especially from China and Japan, but I do want to incorporate some more modern stuff. This came out in 2019. Parasite meets The Good Son in a psychological portrait of 3 women haunted by a brutal unsolved crime. One thing that really sucks about ordering online is stuff like this. The stickers, they're hard to get off. My initial reaction is to just try to rip them right off, but that never ends well, so I'll have to take a hairdryer to that. This is A Land Without Borders by Nir Baram. He's an Israeli author, if I'm correct, and this is about his journey around the East Jerusalem and West Bank area, and obviously with what's going on in the world, I want to continue my education about this topic. I just finished Lawrence in Arabia by Scott Anderson on audiobook, which was fantastic, and highly recommend that. But this also looked very interesting on the topic. This one is all stickered up. We have one on the back, one on the spine, one on the front cover, and one on the inside. This stuff just drives me insane. So this is The Dragons, the Giant, the Women. This is a memoir. She is a Liberian-American author. This was my pick for a Liberian read on my Read the World project. I don't know a ton about this other than it was pretty highly rated. There wasn't a ton of selection from Liberia. But I tried to pick works that are from people that have lived the majority of their life in whatever country they're from. I'm not exactly sure when she came to the States. I know she did go to college here, but it's a more recent release, 2020, I believe. Oh, this is a book I've been looking for a while. It's The Journey of Crazy Horse by Joseph M. Marshall III. And this is a pretty small paperback, and I think it's really just specifically about Crazy Horse, who was a pretty prominent figure in Native American history. Native American history is definitely an interest of mine. I'm by no means an expert, but there's been some books that have really impacted me, I would say on a pretty emotional level, like Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, In the Spirit of Crazy Horse by Peter Matthiessen, Leonard Peltier's book, Prison Writings, which I haven't read in full. I've kind of just read some selections from that. But as an American, anytime I can continue my education about Native American history, I think it's really important to do so. This is Another Day of Life by Kapuscinksi, Polish author, I believe. I forget why I picked this book up, other than I just remember a lot of people mentioning it online. Also very stickered up. I'm going to have my work cut out for me later today. Bringing it back to the U.S., Angels by Denis Johnson. Johnson's a fairly prevalent American author, and my good friend and podcast co-host Andy has read this book and is always telling me to pick it up. I look for it everywhere I go. I've been looking for it for about a year, haven't been able to find it, and finally grabbed a copy. This one's in kind of rough shape, but that's okay, and it's pretty short, only just over 200 pages. Sticking with the Asian literature theme, Cloud of Sorrows by Takahashi Mastuoka. This is also considered kind of like a must-read for Japanese lit. And a lot of people say it's a similar vibe to Shogun by James Clavell, which is right up my alley because that's one of my favorite books. Beasts of No Nation by Uzodinma Iweala. Again, a little shaky on the pronunciation there. I hope I'm doing the author justice. I believe he's a Nigerian author. I've already read a book from Nigeria, which was Americana by Chimamanda Adichie, which was fantastic. But this book just looked interesting to me, so happy to read another Nigerian author. Maybe a somewhat controversial book, but Women by Charles Bukowski. I've actually never read any Bukowski, and when I looked at his whole catalog, this one just seemed like the most interesting to me, maybe one of the more controversial, and that's why. I've looked for years for this book, literal years, in new bookstores, used bookstores. For whatever reason, Wherever I go, they never have a copy of this, so I finally picked it up. Well, apparently this book did not come with its dust jacket, which is a bummer. I really don't care for hardcovers anyway, and this just makes it even worse, so maybe I'll give this one away and buy another copy. This is The Plotters by Eun-Soo Kim, another Korean author. This came out in 2010, so again, going with my Korean and Asian literature binge here. We're getting close to the end. This is China Dream by Ma Jian, a Chinese author. This came out in the late 2010s, maybe 2018, 2019. Don't know much about this author. It was just like kind of on a list of like great modern Chinese works of fiction, and so I picked it up, and this one actually came with a cool little bookmark from Politics and Prose Bookstore in, looks like DC. And last but not least is a book I've actually already read, which is Lawrence in Arabia by Scott Anderson. I talked about this earlier. I just finished the audiobook, but it was so good that I wanted a physical copy, especially because there's so many points in the book, tellings of things that happened and the dates associated with them, that it's the type of book you're going to want to go back and kind of reference. And I didn't feel like that was going to be easy to do with an audiobook. I know you have the option to like make bookmarks, but I just thought it'd be a little bit easier with a physical book. Also makes it easier to loan this out to friends if they want to read it. Not to get too political here, but a lot of the discussion about what's happening in Israel and Palestine is obviously what's going on right now. And when people kind of start the conversation, it's, well, 1948. There was so much that happened prior to that. So this is about Lawrence, T.E. Lawrence's role in World War I and how some of the things he did basically shaped the outcome of the modern day Middle East. No matter what your stance is on things that are going on, reading this book will probably change your mind on a couple things and also just educate you and help you look at things from a new perspective. So that's my entire haul, and I hope everyone spends the last week of 2023 reading some great books, and I look forward to sharing all the books I'll be reading in 2024 with you very soon.